Boy, this was a doozy, Dan. Whew. Thank you, Netflix, huh?
I have some things to say about this movie.
I have some things to say.
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's Hey Watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm surprising Dan.
And I am surprised, Tony. See, that's a cause and effect relationship.
Yeah, usually before we start recording, we talk a bunch and we reminisce and
then Dan usually says something like, "We should do the show," but not today. Today he just started the show mid-conversation.
Well, Tony pre-gamed it by saying that he has 8 pages of notes on this movie. I think there was a movie recently where you were like, I wrote 4 lines.
Yeah, I think, was that Unfrosted that I just was like, I wrote down 3 things and I was like, nah, not worth it.
Nah.
Not worth my time.
Yeah.
This movie is the opposite. This movie needs to be talked about in film classes across the globe.
So each week we pick a movie. This week I picked a movie and I picked Netflix's brand new banger, Jenny from Around the Blocks. J-Lo's movie Atlas that was, I believe, done by her production company. She is like, this is the story that needs to be made. And Netflix is like, yeah, we need to follow up Rebel Moon with some Atlas, and we can start the Atlas verse.
2 for 2. I mean, we are 2 for 2 on sci-fi blockbusters this year, right? Good job, Netflix. Crushing
science fiction. I love science fiction, and man, people have no idea about science fiction. So Atlas.
People have no idea about science, let alone fiction in this movie.
2024, 2 hours. So I watched maybe the first 2/5 of this movie. It's 40%.
Okay, let's break down a pie chart, please. Okay, can we get slices of pie here? Jesus, 2/5.
A lot of times with this doing this show, the only way I can survive is by stopping the movie I'm watching and then watching another movie that's good.
Sure, yeah.
And saying to myself, am I broken?
Is it me? Am I the problem here? Is that what's going on? And the answer is no, Dan. At least not in this case. You are a severely broken individual. Let me be very clear. You have a lot of problems. This is not one of them. Okay, you are spot on, right on the money, Johnny on the spot. This is all you.
So I watched Aliens.
We talked about Aliens a bunch during this movie. So yeah, continue. Great choice.
I probably have not watched Aliens in a while. I've always liked the movie. I've watched it a few times. You know it. You're like, I know this movie. I like this movie. This is a good movie. Then you sit. This is Aliens a movie like Die Hard. Then you sit down and you watch it, and then you're just like, oh, look at this line that's going to connect up to something that happens in 90 minutes. Perfect. Everything. You could just see the Paul Reiser character's trajectory. Bishop.
Oh,
the robots. Every, Michael Biehn, they say, oh, he's antisocial or something. You're like, oh, yeah. And then every character just has these perfections. And everyone that utters a word, you're like, that word builds their character or builds the plot. Every word, everything that happens.
Yeah.
Nothing in this movie adds up to anything. Nothing. Literally nothing.
And not to jump the gun too much, Dan, there's like a 4-minute scene in the beginning where we talk about how she's unhinged and she's an unbalanced person. She can't be worked with. She's fine. She's completely fine through this whole movie. She's actually the most rational person in the film. That doesn't make any sense. You can't give me a 5-minute buildup about how crazy she is. She shouldn't even be on the force. And then she comes in, she's like, well, I have all the answers. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you. I played some chess this morning. Great day. What's happened?
I'm going to disagree with you.
You're going to disagree? What do you bring? Come on, bro. Come at me.
You're right in that she's completely easy to deal with. You're wrong in that she has any answers.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. My only thing was she was like, "Hey, we're probably walking into a trap," and they were, of course.
Sure,
so she was 1 for 1 of any assertions. Because other than that, I don't think she said anything in this movie.
No.
She didn't posit any theories. She didn't do much.
The premise is
sorry, yeah.
In the future, AIs become monstrous AIs that everyone says they're going to become.
Right.
And then they kill a lot of people on Earth, and then when things are going wrong for them, they leave. Planning on coming back later to kill us all later. For what reason?
Nobody knows.
Explanation about that. But we'll find that.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
So what it is right at the beginning of the movie, they find this one alien sitting in an apartment doing nothing, and then they capture this alien. I mean, not alien, AI.
AI. Yeah, he's very earthly.
And Shannon's closing the door because I'm too loud.
She's already upset. We're already at a 10, Dan. That's the problem with this movie. We're coming in hot. Shannon's upset. Oh no.
So she's the one who's been studying this AI because she grew up with the AI that destroyed the world and left, or caused problems in the world and left. So she grew up with it, and of course we understand that she's the cause of all this somehow. We know that's going to come out eventually. Yeah. But somehow she's the cause.
And honestly, I thought it was going to be better. I thought it was going to make a little more sense, but they just were like, nah, people will buy it.
And then the whole idea is she's been living with all this trauma. Uh-huh. And so she's gonna go to where this bad guy is on this other planet, the wasted Simu Leo.
Simu.
Leo?
Lou?
Yeah, Leo, I think.
I don't know.
So he's gonna go there, and then with these Rangers, and they're gonna kill him because they've been waiting to kill him.
For 28 years, right? Is that correct?
For 28 years. They're still doing news things about him 28
years later. They haven't heard a peep from him, and I don't think so.
So they're going to go there and gonna kill him. Because they got to kill him, but not even kill him. We got to find his brain so we can look at his brain. Even though she knows exactly what she did to him.
And just hasn't told anyone in 28 years?
And you think she'd include people in as to why his brain is different and said, we don't really need his brain. It's different because I flipped the switch and said, you now can be a psychopath if you're so inclined.
Which doesn't make sense. We'll get there. The science of this movie makes maybe the least amount of sense than we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. So she's like, I gotta go on this trip. So she basically inserts herself in the trip to go out there because she says that she has all of this knowledge because she's been studying him all this time.
Okay.
And through the course of this movie, she shows that she never at one point uses any knowledge of him for any reason. Never once. Not even for a fraction of a second. It's never the point where you're like, she was playing the game. This is her big elaborate setup. No, she's useless.
Even in the climactic battle, when it's 1-on-1, her versus him, there's no moment where it's like, she's gonna win because she knows him. She's gonna use her knowledge of him against himself. Nope. She goes, we have to do something he won't expect, and it does something very pedestrian, which we'll talk about it when we get there. But there's no inside information that lets her win. It is absurd.
You've set up your whole premise minute one that this person knows that other person like inside out. And then you never use it.
Which would be interesting.
It's crazy.
That would be an interesting thing. I don't know how you write that. How does a human beat an AI based on the fact that she knows him personally? Because that says a lot, one, about, AI and being alive and yada, yada, yada. That's a very interesting idea that they throw out there and then decide not to do.
Yeah. And like you say, people, they've done stuff before. Like somebody's done a thing where you use randomness in the... whatchamacallit, Ender's Game. Didn't Ender have a whole sort of thing that he did?
Sure, yeah, because the hive mind and whatnot, and
Yeah.
one thing knows another. Yeah, blah blah blah. But
So he
that
did
movie
some hive
also
mind.
bad. Read the book, everybody.
No, but I mean in the book. In the book, he does a bunch of things.
I just wanted people to, because we did the movie here. I don't want people to think we're saying the movie's good. The book is good. Anyhow.
So boom, yeah. So the beginning, they capture this casket guy. Then we cut to Atlas. She's sleeping on the couch. What wakes her up, Tony?
Her little Siri. Siri wakes her up.
Her
Good
Siri
morning. Time to wake up, Atlas. I'd wake up to that every day.
And what is she doing with the? What are they doing together?
I guess playing chess.
Of course they're playing chess. Because
that's what shows you're a good commander or something, right?
It shows you're the smartest person in the room if you can play chess.
However, here's what I will say. When she leaves, it says Atlas win streak 71. Not even a very high win streak, if we're being honest. Like 71 games of chess in ostensibly 28 years, which is our jump. Not very many wins. I'm just saying.
How is she beating the computer?
I assume it's programmed to let her win. That's just my assumption.
It's dumb. The idea that you're going to beat the computer at chess is just dumb.
I would say basically an elite chess player, give or take. And I play the computer all the time in chess. I'd never win. It always beats me. It outsmarts me. I think it cheats.
It probably does. You wait till you blink, and then it moves all the pieces around.
It's just like, wait a second. Did those frames move? Shoot.
Teach you to blink. So she's all like, she sees about the dude being captured, and she's all like, bup, 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 bup. She gets ready to go out the door. Yep.
I just want to say one thing, because I'm going to say a lot of negative things about this movie in the next 90 minutes or so, Dan. The television screen, it's a full wall TV with multi-TVs that you can kind of move around and pick. This is my dream. This is heaven to me. This is the future that I want and I need. So they got one thing right and I love it.
Tony's in. He's like, this is.
I was like, oh, she's living the high life, baby.
Hundreds of millions of people killed by the AI. Fine, as long as I get my TV.
Do I have 6 screens on a wall? Yes, I do. We're good. Kill them all.
Tony, should she have an AI in her apartment?
No, she doesn't trust AI. From what I remember of the movie, she's very anti-AI, but she seems to have a bunch of AI in her house. Yeah.
Shouldn't she have like a clicker, click, 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 shouldn't she have like a manual coffee pot? Shouldn't she not have a computer?
Pushing a button and watching it grind itself and be like, oh, this old thing doesn't even work because nobody sells these anymore and I have to fix it myself because I'm an old school kind of girl.
Using the crank can opener?
Yeah, I've told the can opener story that I didn't know what it was. That's great. Okay. Then delete. Control-Alt-Delete.
Right from the moment, you're like, why is she interacting with AI? She should never be trusting them. She should ride her bicycle. She should do everything to avoid them.
She should be the manual person. This is the problem with the movie. It's like it says things, but then doesn't back them up in any way and does the opposite because they're too lazy to actually make anything real. It's ridiculous.
So as she's leaving, the guy from the ICN, International Coalition of Nations, which is what you'd call your big program to fight the thing, because that's a dumb name, shows up and's like, oh, we're here. I'm here to pick you up. And she's like, right on time or whatever. And then she wins the chess game as she's walking out the door because she's so smart.
She's so smart, dude. She's like the smartest.
So smart. So we cut to the ICN. There's Booth. And there's, what's his name? Banks, Booth at Banks, 2 B names, thing you never do in scripts.
Yeah,
that's what they did in the script.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Then we set up that J-Lo is unstable. She's like, Banks is like, she shouldn't come. She's super unstable. She's going to destabilize it, blah, 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 blah. And the other guy's like, I trust her the most. She's the analyst. She knows everything.
Boom. Right here, your movie just fell apart. And let me explain why this is.
Tell
Her
me why the
entire
movie fell
thing,
apart.
even in like the climactic scene where her robot is dying, and we'll talk about it, her thing is you can't trust anyone. People will
Yep.
let you down. AI can't be trusted. She's a loner, blah, blah, blah. This guy, the Shepard, is that his name? Mark Shepard, right? In real life? I don't remember his character's name. Booth or Boone? I don't know.
Banks. You mean
the bald dude.
The
Not
bald dude?
Sterling K.
Not
Brown.
It's not Sterling. I was like, I think he has a different name than that. I don't know what his name is. Yeah,
it doesn't matter. This general, colonel, whatever he is.
Booth.
Despite all of her shortcomings, her struggles in life, he stands behind her 100%. And he's like, no,
Yes.
she's good at her job. She's got a guy in her corner for no reason. So her whole lone wolf act already out the window. Thrown completely out the window. Now, step number 2, the other side of this coin is Sterling K. Brown. It's like, she's terrible. She can't do anything. She's abrasive. She can't be trusted. She's a loose cannon. She's not any of those things either. The two people are basically negating everything that they built in this movie and try to pretend this movie's about. It doesn't make any sense. It's absolute bonkers. Also, let's just talk about her bedhead throughout this movie, which I think is a character choice because she's unhinged the whole time.
Crazy hair?
She has crazy hair. She goes AI for the coffee, for the TV, for the chess, but she can't comb her hair. It's impossible, Dan. What a weird choice. And it's fine. I don't care, but it's like so crazy that it's noticeable the whole time. I don't know. Seemed like a weird choice.
Very angry about her hair.
Well,
so
she fixes it. The reason why I know that it's a character choice and not like, oh, this is how she wears her hair is because at the end, her hair is very well combed. Like it's nicely done and it's tied. Like they make that distinction where she's disheveled and unruly in the first part of the film, quote unquote. And then once she, solves the world problems, then she's all put together. That's how I know it's not just like, oh, this is her hairstyle for the movie. This is a character choice that someone's making. And they're like, nah, she doesn't look wild enough. Can we just moose her hair up a little? It's weird.
Do you want me to tell you the secret to unpacking this movie?
Please do. Yeah.
Remember we watched a movie one time that was really terrible.
You're going to need to be more specific.
It was a Will Smith movie and it was called After Earth.
I love that. Yeah, After Earth. Jaden for the win.
You remember that movie?
I remember watching it. I don't know if I remember the movie.
Do you remember why they made that movie?
No.
Scientology.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah.
Do you know why they made this movie?
Christianity?
Don't
Is she a Scientologist?
She's a Scientologist. Her dad was a Scientologist. Okay. Yeah, they don't play that up so much.
Yeah.
She's a Scientologist. And not to get conspiratorial here,
but let's put that hat right on our heads, baby.
This is the same sort of weird movie. It's like until you succumb to the AI and give over to the AI and let your machine master, be part of you and become one with it, then you're not going to have coherence. And at the end, she completely submits herself. And how does she submit herself? By giving all of the embarrassing stories of her life, which is what you do in Scientology. You sit in front of a little meter and you tell them everything, and then they can use that to blackmail you.
Yeah, because they're filming that, right? Like they record that, and then what a weird fucking thing.
They write it all down. Please tell me continue.
Dan, if I ever say I'm going to join Scientology, you need to shut me down, because there are some secrets that could get out about me that would destroy me.
Dark stuff.
The things that I've eaten that they could find out about, Dan, oh boy.
So that's the whole thing. The whole thing is about going down this to being overly emotional. And then at the end, when you finally give over to your trauma and let your trauma go by telling it to an inanimate object or a person that can use it against you the rest of your existence, then you're free.
Boy, I wish I was free, huh? That sounds lovely.
You'll never be free. So she goes in there and she's going to interrogate Casca. And then she has her little chess piece, which has a magnet in it. She sticks it in his head, magnet him, and he's like, da, 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 da. And then she's like, don't think about where Harlan is. And he's all like, oh, damn, I just thought about where Harlan is. And she's all like, you're such a dum-dum.
Yeah.
And that's how she gets all the important information.
It's so great because, and then she makes the joke that like, oh, my mom did that to me. And then it turns out she didn't because her mom was terrible. I don't know. And then later they're like, she just did something no one's done in 28 years. I was like, nobody thought of using reverse psychology in 28 years? Nobody thought it would be smart to just like pretend to not let him think about it. But then the whole time he's like, oh, I'm thinking about it now. That parents use that every day. I mean, it's just ridiculous. What a stupid. This isn't her outsmarting anyone. Okay, this is her just being a parent to an AI. I don't know. My dad did that shit to me all the time. Did I ever tell you the alarm story?
Oh, he psyched you out?
Yeah, he totally psyched me out. So I used to sneak my girlfriend in and out of the house, like late after hours, as you would say. And one day my dad knew about it and he came to me and he's like, the alarm tells me when doors open and close, don't you? I have a log of all of the things. I was like, what? Are you serious? Okay, she left at this time. I'm sorry. I don't know what the other ones are. He just starts fucking laughing at me. He's like, how stupid are you? None of that is real. That's not a thing, you idiot. And then I was in trouble. Parents do that shit all the time. This is not a smart maneuver.
Super genius.
Super genius.
Now she has this magnet that's inside a chess piece.
What?
And she takes with her constantly, and this is going to play like some big role in the movie, right?
Yeah, right now and then never again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is its big moment to shine, Dan. This is the time it's been waiting for all its life. I don't understand what's happening. Can I just say that? The magnet thing. I understand that I know magnets can erase hard drives and it's like bad, right?
Yeah.
Why is it electrocuting him?
Because that's what they wanted to do.
Right, but that's not what would happen. So I'm a little fuzzy on the details here because then his eye pops out. It turns into gelatin and it pops out of his head. How does that happen from a magnet? Why aren't people using magnets more often? Why do they even have guns?
We didn't talk about that. We need to rewind.
We need to back up. We need to back up.
The first scene when they're taking Casca, everybody shows up with guns and they're like all.
They're shooting a robot in the chest for no reason.
Smoking a cigarette, doesn't care, and then at a certain point, this little square robot rolls up, just goes zap, and he just dies.
Yeah. So why are we sending in the ground troops with guns that we know don't work for 28 years? These AI have been bad for 28 years, and we're still using guns that don't affect them. And what did they lose? Like 8 people, probably 8 people died.
They lost a lot of dudes.
And then they just one little button, zap. He's on the ground. Are you kidding? Why? That's your only move. That's the only thing you do. You set that outside the door, ring the door, and be like, pizza delivery. He opens the door, zap him. Why are there guns?
I would not be happy if my sergeant sent me into a battle versus an AI.
Then I know I'm going to die.
I'd be like, this is not cool. Not cool, bro.
Yeah, good cell sec. You guys are on the first team. You're going to head in the door. Whoa. Head into the door? What are you talking about, Cap?
Early retirement. Thank you.
Hand me my pension. I'll be on my way.
Because they know what he is.
So stupid.
Yes. They know exactly who he is.
They've been looking for him for 28 years. They should be ready. It's so weird.
Nope.
I mean, it's not only just this scene, right? They're shooting guns here. They make those mech suits. What do those mech suits do? They shoot guns.
No.
Why?
They have landmines and they have a super cannon in the front. And they have one ion bomb only for really emergencies.
Yeah, why don't they have a magnet? A magnet on a finger. Stick it on the guy. He's dead. That's all you need in the mech suit. Just give him 5 magnet fingers on each hand and you're done. I don't understand. Why are there 9 guns that were shooting at things that don't get affected by guns?
And that's why when you watch Aliens,
Great.
they're all like, "Oh, it's a bug hunt." You're like they've been through many situations, all different,
Yep.
and they're moving into a new one. And what do they slowly do through Aliens? They adapt.
Yep. Which is in 28 years. That movie takes place in what? A couple weeks, probably. I don't remember, but like.
A couple days.
It is wild.
Yeah.
And they can figure out how to kill that thing a couple days. We've had 28 years to prepare for this guy. And we didn't do one thing right. Not a single thing right.
So stupid.
I love humans.
Okay, so she goes to the Booth's office. He's like, "Congrats," and she's like, "I'm going on the mission." And then he's like, "You can't go." And then he's like, "Yes, you could go."
Hold on. You're saying he a lot. Let's be very clear. Sterling K. Brown is the one in the earlier scene where he was like, she can't go. She's unstable. Now, in this scene, the other guy, Mark Shepard, is like, you can't go. And Sterling K. Brown's like, she should come. Yeah, I think she should be the one on the ship with me.
Really?
What
That's
happened?
what happens?
What just happened? When did this switch happen, Dan? I don't know.
It's
he
like-
was so against it.
It's like a Beaky Friday situation, Danny.
That is an inside joke, everybody.
Yeah, we're not supposed to make it.
We're not supposed to make it, but if you want to go to my YouTube channel, there's a sketch called Beaky Friday. It's not as good when you see it on a video.
Not as good, but
It was good on stage, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, that just to throw Tony a small amount of praise that he actually deserves.
Well,
that was a funny sketch.
Well, here's the thing, though, Dan, is that obviously not enough because the other two people in that sketch went on to Sunday Company, and I did not. So, can't win them all, I guess.
So, I was listening to this terrible podcast.
Are you going to name it or no name drop?
No.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
It doesn't matter. Whatever. It was like, with actors. Why don't you do that thing? Can't you do that? Does anybody do that? Because lots of people doing
do
that.
What?
Do like voice acting on a podcast.
Oh, I've tried. Yeah, I've auditioned for many. People do not like my voice.
They don't like your voice. Okay.
They don't like my voice. They don't like my face. They don't like my personality. Other than that, I'm good to go.
Because all these people, very not funny. Thinking they were funny. Everybody thinks they're funny.
Yeah, we do.
Terrible. Okay, so she gets to go.
So she's going now. Great job.
So we go there and we see that everybody gets in a mech suit, and then they have to link with it through a thing. Which, okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna back this train up one second.
Yeah, okay, yeah, bring it back.
She acts like she's never heard of such a thing as this, right?
She goes, a Neuralink? Something to that effect. Yeah. When, in fact, she basically helped create them.
And then later on, we also find out she tried to be a ranger.
Yep, exactly.
Why would you try and be a ranger if that is the thing that you do when you're a ranger?
Not only that, but she also doesn't seem to know what the mech suits are.
Nope.
Right? Like
never
she's
seen
like
such a thing.
Right. I'm confused. I'm really confused. I don't understand where she is in the ranks of anything. How does she not know anything about this? And she tried to be part of that squad. So wouldn't she know what it? I don't know. It's weird.
Once again, it's one of those things where the movie's like, we'll make it so the character doesn't know about it, so we can. So it's all right that we have a person standing here explaining it to them. And that's your classic stupidity. It's
your
like
classic Avatar right there.
When you watch Aliens, they don't explain anything. Everybody just picks up their guns and there's giant guns and you're like, giant guns.
There's a thing that's trying to kill us. The bigger the gun, the better.
And at one point, Ripley's standing there. She's like, is there anything I can do to help? And he's like, can you run a loader? And earlier in the movie, she said, the only work I can get is running a loader. And then she puts on the loader and works the loader. And then you're like, and at the end, she's going to get in the loader and fight the big green alien.
Yeah.
Wow. It's almost.
Wow. Look at
did
that.
you know that was going to happen?
Probably not the first time I saw it, right?
Yeah,
I don't really remember, Dan. That was 30 years ago.
Maybe not the second time either. Oh, wow. So she's going to go. And then I think he's like goes, we'll give you one of these suits. And she's all like, no, I'm too scared and it'll drive me insane.
But she uses AI all the time. I don't understand. I don't know. I mean, we're out of time. She needs to be completely devoid of AI contact for this character to work. But the blinds are so blurred, she relies on it for her life all the time. She can't be like, oh, but this is a step too far.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Boom. They leave Earth. She watches videos of her mom. She goes, they have a big meeting of all the Rangers and her, and then she's supposed to give them a briefing.
Oh, God.
And her briefing is paper, on paper, and they're like, this is paper.
And they're like, and she's like, and we have to turn off our Neuralinks for the meeting. And they're like, why? Why would we turn off our Neuralink for our link that isn't in the office right now? Like, why would you be sending constant data to an AI machine when you're trying to fight AI? Also, question, Dan. He seems the bad guy, this terrorist, quote unquote.
Yeah.
He seems able to remotely rewrite AI code, right? Like, because when he turns, he just immediately turns his second in command, even though they don't speak or contact. He's just like, now you're me. Couldn't he do that to these mech suits immediately?
They say a line in there like, you can't hack these, even though they do get hacked later.
They get hacked. Smithy gets hacked pretty quickly. But he is confused. In the movie's defense, Smith is like, I don't know how they're doing this. Well, he did it to every other AI on the planet, so it makes sense that he could adapt and figure out how to do it to you. The fact that they're even using AI to bring down AI is stupid. The whole premise of this movie is stupid.
Yeah, but these are better AIs that they've made better that are better than better. They're better.
Based on what? You guys thought the first round was pretty great 28 years ago until, spoiler alert, they killed everybody.
Until a small child said, you can be evil now.
We got to talk about who can give commands to AI. I don't understand the rules.
Anybody. Why
anyone can tell anyone's AI to do anything and they'll do it. And if an AI is doing something you don't want, all you have to say is override and they stop.
So Sterling K. Brown's character says to them, if she says off, you gotta turn off the Neuralinks. And one of the guys goes like this, seriously?
Yeah.
He says, seriously? Now, these are Rangers, right? This is the military.
Yeah.
Do you say that to your commanding officer?
No, if you did that, you're in trouble. You're doing push-ups for the day. You're running laps. You're cleaning the latrine. You're doing something if you lip off. You say, sir, yes, sir, turn it off. And then later in your secret quarters, you're like, well, that was a bogus thing, right? Well, but you never question to his face. No, you're done.
And once again, in Aliens, when you watch Aliens, man, there's command structure things. He comes down on their asses. He's like, do this, here's shit work you got to do. And you know what they have to do? They have to do shit work.
Because that's the way the world works.
Yes, they're not, it's not, these movies want to imagine that there's some sort of equality amongst the characters. And this is the military.
That's
equality.
not the way it works. If that was the way it worked, the military would be nothing. All rules are out the window.
So Atlas tells Banks, there's always a trap. And then he's all like, well, we always got plan B, the carbon warheads. So they got a bunch of warheads on the ship.
Yeah. Dan, when she was explaining that there's always a trap with Harlan, did you figure out the plot of the movie? I'm genuinely curious how you went. Okay.
No,
all right.
I never figured out the plot of the movie.
Yeah, during this scene, we're like, okay, so this is the trap. We are mid-trap right now because otherwise there's no reason to talk about it. And sure enough, we were mid-trap.
So you knew that the bad guy wanted those missiles and that's why they were there?
I didn't know he wanted the missiles, but I knew I thought he was luring her there for something a little more grandiose other than to be like, now you're where you belong. You'll be dead in 5 minutes. Peace out, sis. Which we'll get to, but I thought he needed her for something with his coding because we know that she helped him figure out coding before to give him a soul, a bad soul. I figured he was like, I need you one more time, sister. But
okay, that would have been good.
It would have been interesting, but it wasn't. That's not what happened.
Yeah, and I'm sure they had some line in here why they don't just nuke him from orbit because we gotta capture him. You're like,
Which,
what?
but that wasn't the plan until later. They're like, "Oh, mission's changed. We're now bringing him in alive." Because they do that. They switch that
they do?
while they're on the
They do
ship.
switch it. Okay.
So they like the original plan was to go kill him. Why are we landing? Just blow the planet out of the fucking sky, guys. Like I don't understand these plans whatsoever.
There's no human beings down there. There's no reason that the planet doesn't get nuked out of existence.
Nothing we need to save. Just get rid of it. We got a lot of planets out there.
And then the as soon as they say these words, then the ship starts blowing up, and basically she has to get in one of the mechs, and then she falls through all the things.
And she really is against it. She's yelling, "No, don't put me in there. Let me burn to death on this spaceship." That's basically what she's saying. Which is ridiculous because she just played chess with AI 20 minutes ago.
Now we got to talk a little bit about her characterization going forward in the movie.
Okay, yeah.
Have you ever had like, problem with your computer and so you call customer service?
Yeah, everyone's called IT before, Dan. Come on.
And your level of frustration builds and builds and builds.
I come in at a 10. I'm not going to lie to you because I know what I'm getting into. Here's the trick. By the way, there's a trick to this. You just have to tell them that you need to talk to their manager. You have to go beyond. The first step of customer service is always the people, no offense, people, is always the people that don't know how to do anything. They're the people that just give you the, have you tried to restart it? Yeah, it didn't work. Did you unplug it and plug it back in? Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not sure what's going on. Let me talk to somebody else. Let me talk to somebody who knows what's actually happening. Give me the next rung. I need the first line of defense is always the worthless people that don't know anything.
How Tony was acting like there. Take that, then add crying and weepiness and
a lot of weepiness, yeah.
And you build the character that you don't want to spend 1 second with in your entire life. This is a character you don't want to be in. You want to just do the Homer Simpson and back into the bush. You want nowhere near this lady. She's horrible. She's the most horrible. Might be the most horrible character ever put on screen.
To be like, it's not even necessarily her character in general, but it's the way that she reacts to stress and trauma. She doesn't handle those things well, like someone that you would like to follow through a movie. She's not your Sigourney Weavers, as it were. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? She's no Ripley. Like, Ripley's a badass. This woman, unfortunately, not a badass. She's pretty weak and like pretty susceptible to all things, and she's just having a real tough day. We are seeing her at like one of her toughest days. She's no John McClane where he's like, yeah, this is a bad day, but I'm going to kick it right in its teeth, right? Like, she doesn't have that mentality. She just breaks down over and over and just screams in frustration.
It's so horrible. And the AI and the thing just has to constantly hold her hand.
And calm it down. It's, yeah. Yep.
It's horrible. You're just watching someone whose shit is not together at all. And I don't feel compassion for her.
No.
Never.
And there's even a very specific moment where she's able to sacrifice herself to save humanity, and she will not do it.
Stop.
So like, she has zero redemption qualities. I was just gonna say, one time, not too long ago, I don't know if I told you this story on the pod or not, but we had a break-in at our apartment in our garage, and someone went through and stole a bunch of stuff out of people's cars. And one of our neighbors, who's a relatively friendly guy, but he's not those guys that you look at and you're like, you're probably not all that successful, and like your life hasn't gone the way that you want. A little bit, but he's a relatively nice guy. Anyhow, So they broke into his really shitty car, and they stole apparently tools out of his trunk. I don't I don't know, Dan. He had a tool set, and apparently that was pretty big. Anyhow, so we came down into the garage, and he was looking through his car, and he was just like, "Fuck, God damn it, fuck!" And just screaming. We're like, "Hey, what's going on, man?" He's like, "They got my tools. I can't get more tools." And I was like, "What are you talking?" And he just kept screaming. So we just slowly, because we were trying to get to our car, and he was in between us and the car. So we just slowly, like as we were trying to talk to him, being like, "Oh man, that's terrible. I can't believe that." We slowly got in the car and just like opened the garage door and drove away and left this guy having the worst day of his life. And that's what I wanted to do with this movie. I just wanted to be like, okay, get your shit together and I'll come back later.
I'll check in with you later.
She's not the lead of a movie, this character. She's just not.
This is not the person you want to follow around.
But I wonder, because we didn't watch, what was that action movie she did for them? Was it Mother or something like that?
Mother was her last movie.
I wonder if she's a supreme badass in Mother. So then she was like, I want to play something opposite for my next movie.
Could try to get that Oscar.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, lots of crying. People love that in the Oscars.
So she crashes through all this stuff. Crash. She won't Neuralink. She crashes. She tries to use the radio. She cries. She tries to do the setup. Then she yells at the AI. And then the AI is like, it's 98 kilometers west. And then she tries to fly. And then she's like, you can't fly. And I can't fly you because I can't map a way to go there. And if I can't map a way to go there, then we can't move.
Right, because I can't secure your safety or something of that nature.
He just wants to keep her here till she dies of old age.
Before we run, well, not even old age, because at some point he runs out of oxygen.
Well, we have 22 hours. We do the Dan Good cell. We put a number on it just so there's something.
There's a lot of different. I feel like there's a couple of timers, though, isn't there?
Oh yeah, lots of timers.
Okay. All right, I thought so.
Well, they got that's their way of trying to. It's not enough that they're on a planet with no one. And there's killer AIs everywhere. No, we have to say, well, you're going to die in 22 hours too.
Just FYI.
It's enough.
Yeah, like calm down. Pick one and let's deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing you could have said. He could have said, you're a civilian, and, the primary thing I have to do as a civilian, I have to protect you. And my best way to protect you is to keep you here. Period.
Great.
And he just shuts down and he just sits down. And she's all like, no, you got to go. She's like, well.
And then she would have to convince him. Yes.
Yeah. She'd have to do something.
Well, she does do something, Dad. Do you remember what she does?
No, I don't know what she does.
She says the magic words and she says override.
Override.
Now, this is a great time to talk about override in this scenario and the AI in this movie.
Yeah.
What are they supposed to listen? So any time she wants the AI to do something that it says no to, she just says override.
Yeah, she's the person.
You can't just put override in because she can override anything she wants, except for when the stakes are too high. She never says override. I don't know if you noticed this, but I feel like this was super on purpose. Later, when she's gonna fire that missile. And she's like, I'm ordering you to do this. I'm ordering you. She never says override. And then the AI doesn't do it. So I'm wondering if they were just like, we can only use override when she's going to win the argument. It was super weird. But anyhow, anytime you want something to happen, you just say override and the AI will just do it for you, as far as I could tell. Which is a super dangerous thing to put into your AI because then the AI can do anything. It's very weird.
And it's weird because she has to put her legs into things to make it walk.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the tech for a second, because how does it do a cartwheel? If she's moving the legs with her legs,
I don't know, man.
Because what's weird is she's also doing the arm motions, but she doesn't have anything on the arms.
Yeah, I know.
So what?
Why does the legs have to have?
Why do the legs have to be in strappy things? And why does she have to do that at all? Because they're neural linked eventually, right? So shouldn't she just be able to think it and it does it? Isn't that the point of a neural link? Why does she have to physically do the motions and then Simu Liu, when he takes over the mom at one point, he's doing the gun motion with her. instead of just like controlling it with his mind. I don't understand anything.
More importantly, when she's controlling the gun, she's going like this.
Yeah,
You're
which
like,
is not
wait a
what
second.
he's doing.
He's either in control or he's not. It's either, control, not in control. You can't be like shaking.
And he
He's not
literally
shaking.
says, I have control over all of your motor functions. I was like, well, not all of them, guy, because she's shaking all over the place.
Yeah.
This movie is ridiculous.
It's almost like the mother should become robotic when she's under
Great.
control.
Yeah. And then the body, it moves, but the eyes are what give it away. The tear and the fear in her eyes while her body's doing things that she's not. That's a great character moment.
Wow.
We don't get any of that.
No, we don't want to. We want her shaking because the mother doesn't want to do it, and she's what? I don't even
understand. We'll wait till we get to that scene. That scene confused the shit out of me.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then so the thing is like, I'm learning for you. He lists all the weapons for her and says like, there's one ion bomb. Don't waste that. And I'm like, they're going to use that right at the end. The ion bomb.
Dan, I don't remember this.
Yeah.
Is there a chest cannon in this list that he goes through?
I don't remember the chest cannon.
I don't remember either. I should have rewatched it.
I remembered a lot of the other stuff, but chest cannon was because there's a sword, there's the motion sensors, there's the mines, there's, shooty guns, and the one ion bomb. That's the one thing
you remember why I'm asking this, right? Because later...
the end, he says, when he hacked me, he didn't know that I had
He didn't find the chest cannon because it wasn't in the... literature, the manual. It's not in the manual. It's not documented in the manual, is what he said, which is that's not how anything works. They can't have a secret gun that no one knows how to work. It's in your code at the very least. And Simu Liu was going through millions of code in seconds. So he could have just looked through your code and been like, well, you got a chest gun, bud.
Do they use that chest gun?
Yes, they do at the very end.
Do use it? Okay.
Yeah, Simu Liu's on top and he's about to kill him, and then the chest gun comes out, shoots him in the chest, and he flies away. It doesn't win the battle, of course, but it just saves him a second. And it's dumb. Everything is stupid.
Okay. He's wearing her down. And then he's all like, I know who you are, Atlas. And then she's all like, get out of my brain. How do you know my name? How do you know my name? How? And he's all like, and Deco says like, cause he read her badge. And he's like, cause I read your badge. I'm like, oh, such a dumb bit.
It's
just
funny.
The weakest bit.
It's weak, but it does make me laugh. Not that it's supposed to. I don't know if it's supposed to make me laugh or not, but it makes me laugh because this is like a bit that has evolved over the years. And some writer was like, I'm going to bring that bit into the future, guys. This is fucking funny. You know how like people confuse and they're like, oh, are you a psychic? Oh no, your name's on your badge. What if the robot was reading her mind, bro? It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. I'm sorry. I'm cursing a lot today. I apologize. I'm going to bring it back down to a normal, safe level. But this movie gets me riled up.
They get to a cool forest of mushrooms. I'd like if we ever actually got to enjoy an environment. We do not.
Yeah. You're creating a whole new planet. Let's explore it a little. Let's live in it. Let's have some fun.
She finds all the dead rangers. She gets weepy. She has a panic attack, and then she collects all their dog tags in a little pouch.
I don't know.
That seemed really weird to me that she would know to collect their dog tags.
Because she's an analyst, right? Like she's not a soldier, and I'm fine with it. But I
would not have thought of that. Would you have thought of that?
No, because we're not soldiers. Like we are not trained. Like we don't have. I don't know. She's an analyst. It's weird.
And that we would just assume our dude's scanning all them. He knows who they are. We got the information. Boom, the information's in him.
Sure.
Like having a piece of metal or a weird little thing doesn't mean anything. It's not the same. But it is in this world. And then he says, peace to the fallen. She asks him later, why do you say that? He's like, seems like the thing to say. Right. I'm like, I thought it was a real thing.
It's not a real thing. You know what I mean? Like, sure, yeah, this is a phrase that I guess they kind of made up. But it's not. Why is she so confused? It's not. It's pretty self-explanatory what it means. She's like, why are you saying? Because they're dead. Peace to the fallen. I'm wishing you peace. It's just the way that I say, like, why are you questioning that? Rest in peace. Why do you say that? You stupid idiot. I don't understand her questioning of it. It's not like it was an obscure saying that's like, what does that mean, robot? It means that, dream well in the afterlife. I don't know. Like sleep well, machine, if you had said that. And she's like, what does that mean? It's like, well, when robots die, they don't really die. They just go into hibernation. So we say sleep well. I don't know. Something that's not normal, like peace to the fallen.
So weird. Okay, boom. She sees Casca, or she senses him, and she's all like, I can't fight 6 AI soldiers. I'm an analyst. And then there's a whirlwind. They start fighting, and then there's a whirlwind.
Some sort of tornado. Yeah, I don't know.
She
goes, what's that? Do you think there's not tornadoes anymore on Earth? Did we get rid of those in the AI wars? Because she seems very confused. It looks just like a regular tornado. I don't know.
It's almost like you would have studied
the planet you're going to.
This planet, since you know what
you would have had a briefing of like, oh, here's a geological storm that you might want to watch out for. Nah.
I mean, that's a thing typically you do in these kind of movies, and that would have been some information that she could have used.
She handed out the report, Dan, so that's not a good start. It was her report. She didn't know nothing.
So she jumps into the whirlwind and rolls down a mountain, and they come on her, and she's just like, ion bomb. She's like, doesn't want to fight, so she just says ion bomb and
just nuke them. Yeah,
nukes everybody.
Yeah, but not herself. What isn't? I don't know. You know
what is an ion bomb?
Yeah,
an ion bomb is the thing that'll kill all the bad guys, but won't kill you. That's what it is.
So there's a bubble, right? Obviously, in the explosion. It's circular pattern. All right, got it.
He should have said, okay, now there goes all our shielding. If they want to shoot us with something, then we, when they want to stab us with the energy beam, now we can't do that. You fucked us.
But nope, it just works.
Wouldn't have had anything like
except
that.
Except for it causes a sinkhole, which is the least interesting thing it could possibly do.
She falls in the sinkhole. Her leg is broken. Then she has to bitch at the thing and be angry at him because this thing can fix everything wrong with her, and she's mad at it for that.
Why did her leg break?
Because she fell in a sinkhole.
But why does she feel that impact when she fell from the sky, landed thousands and thousands of kilometers down, and just got a bloody head? But she falls down a sinkhole, and now she broke her leg?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Maybe she didn't have herself strapped in properly. Because she's dumb.
She unseatbelt. Wear your seatbelts, kids. Okay, that's the moral of this story.
Yeah, maybe the little seatbelt, she didn't and cinch it up like she was supposed to.
Like when I wear my rollerblades too loose and then my ankles hurt really bad. I get it.
You're so stupid.
You don't like rollerblading? Well, it's a treat.
I've never done it.
You've never rolled, Dan?
I skated when I was a kid, and I always got scared.
What are you scared about, bud?
Like my ankles breaking.
Oh, well, I mean, they do get really sore if you don't tighten. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to tighten them. You got to create that, the vertical, because otherwise they get really sore. They're not going to break. We should go. There's a roller rink in Burbank. We should go.
Really?
Come on. We'll double date.
Can we go at 9 in the morning?
I don't even know if they're open at 9 in the morning. Nobody rollerblades at 9 in the morning. It's an evening activity.
Do you rent rollerblades? So they're not roller skating, they're rollerblading?
They would probably have roller skates. I have rollerblades. We'll just buy you some rollerblades. It'll be fine.
Now,
and we'll get you some pads, too, because you're going to fall.
Great. Do I have to wear the... they made those really big football helmets that really protect you. I have to wear one of those.
We should probably get you one of those. Yeah. We'll get you all kitted out.
And is everybody going to be disco dancing there and I'll be like this?
I don't think people in California are that fun, to be honest with you. But back in Minnesota, when we used to do it, they would do nights, the starlight. So the disco ball would go and you'd go in circles and dance it up. It was pretty fun. Pretty fun stuff, Dan.
Yeah, well. When my bone is sticking out of my leg from doing that, you're going to have to set it.
Yeah, I'll set it. I'll suture it. I'll cut off your skin and then give you Tylenol afterwards. That's a joke from this movie.
Oh, okay.
Because he forgets a step. Are you not going to talk about this? When he's fixing her leg,
yeah,
he sets the bone crack, cuts off a piece of her skin, and then goes, "Oh, I forgot a step," and then gives her a painkiller. Is that a joke?
It's kind of funny. Yeah.
I agree that it's funny. I'm asking you if it's a joke, because
a joke.
the AI wouldn't skip a step. So
No.
is he purposely making her hurt because she's such a whiny individual? They need to hammer that home a little bit more. Like the AI has to say something that makes that a joke. Otherwise, it's like, why did he skip a step? That's not AI. AI would not skip a step.
Yeah.
It was just really weird. It was just a weird moment. And like, it can be funny, but they didn't make it funny.
Can we talk about the AI's voice for a second?
Yeah, we can. We actually looked it up, so I have some information. What do you want to know?
I hated it. I thought it was stupid.
It was
boring. It's like, I didn't care.
It was that. And I will tell you that the guy that did it, who I have since forgotten his name, and I feel bad, I just looked it up this morning.
Is he like the guy that like if you call and need to get like information, he's like, I am the information robot?
I don't think that's a thing anymore, Dan. Is that still a thing? I think they just use AI for that now. Okay. I don't think it's a real person anymore. But so he was hired to do the on-set voice just as a holding. So like the way that you do it, J-Lo would be acting and then he does it into a microphone so that she can hear him, right?
Yeah.
So he was hired for that. And the director just loved him so much that he was like, no, we want you to be the real voice. Come back and do all the voiceover later, which is great for him that he won him over. But it's a choice. It's very flat. And I think part of the problem, I'll see if you agree with me, is that you have to be the anti-Jarvis, right? Because Jarvis is a very, not fun, but like, he's a more lively AI. He does make some jokes.
And it's what's his name, who's like a really good actor.
Yeah. Paul something?
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany. So like you can't, because there's going to be a lot of comparisons to the Iron Man suit and the Atlas suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like you have to differentiate, and the way that they chose to do it was like, just don't have a personality.
See,
that is one way to get around it.
When you make the choice of just don't have a personality, I don't know. I'd rather get compared to Iron Man than go down the don't have a personality.
I agree with you, and it's weird to me. This is why it's weird to me, is because the other AI in the movie, they have personalities.
Yeah.
Simu was made 28 years ago, has a personality. This suit made 10 years ago, 5 years ago, has no personality?
Well, hold on.
I don't get it.
But at the end, when she gets the new suit, it's like, pick a voice. And it's like, voice number 1, voice number 2. Then the last one's like, standard, boring shit voice.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wait a second. Like, if I'm doing a video game, right, I'm picking a voice I got to listen to, I'm going to pick like Kate Blanchett or something. I'm going to want to listen to Kate Blanchett.
Do you use Waze? Not to promote other apps. Do you use Waze at all for your directions?
What is that?
Waze is a map app. It doesn't really matter. It's like Google Maps, right? It gives you directions and they talk, but sometimes they do voices. So they'll do
special voices for a little bit of time.
They do like famous people like I had Sam Jackson doing it for a while and it was a treat. Like, that's fun. That is a voice I'll listen to. He can yell at me, give directions all the time. So it's just weird.
It's just like, okay, we'll make it a and that just makes it even worse when she's like so bereft, and it's just like, I mean, there's all these. Shannon watches a lot of YouTube videos. We both watch a lot of YouTube videos, but she watches a lot of documentary ones, and she gets the ones that are like AI generated voice ones.
Sure.
And you gotta turn them off because they're so terrible.
It's the worst. We are not there yet, people. Don't worry, we have some time.
No, but Ashton Kutcher said that he's just going to be able to ask for a script, and then he's going to put it in the other thing, and then it's going to make a movie, and you're going to want to watch that movie.
I'm not going to want to watch it. Not anytime soon. I'll tell you. I've seen this AI shit. It's not doing it for me.
Have you seen some stuff?
Like, I mean, not like
more
real
pro
stuff, but like somebody did like a mash of, I think it's Batman and Barbie with AI, and it's just really fucking weird right now. Like, nothing matches. Everything's weird. The thing with AI is like, it's close. That's how I feel about it. Like, it's close, but you can tell that something's wrong. And when something's wrong, you don't enjoy it because the whole time you're like, you have an uneasy, you're like, something's not right here. This is not okay. So I think we have some time, 3-5 years, and then we're all doomed.
I don't think so. He gets sarcastic. She cries. She complains. There's lasers. They're learning to get along. Right? And then he's all like, with your analytic mind and my combat prowess, things could be good. Then she's like, get out of my mind. Get out of my mind.
Now, Dan, I understand that that's why the chess is in the movie, right? Yeah. Because she's supposed to have an analytic mind. She's an analyst, right?
Yep.
Aren't computers also good at analyzing stuff?
I mean, if these are true AIs, they should be incredible at analyzing
right?
things.
Like, isn't that kind of what we're going to be using it for, is to, like, analyze things more precisely?
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about how AI works.
Oh, God, this is great. Everybody strap in. Dan Talk. It's like a TED Talk, but better.
I might have already done this. My brother...
I don't think so.
He does biochemistry. He does stuff with viruses and shit like that. All the little tiny shit, right? And so with all that tiny stuff, you need to know how all the proteins sort of glue to each other and how they form into things, right? So they have like the magic AI box. Here it is. Here's the box. So they put in like their problem. And what the AI will do is it'll spit out this information that he says fixes what they're doing 10%.
Pretty good.
So it's great. It's totally great. Doesn't
it's
make
not 100%
leaps and bounds, but it sort of says, this is what I think is going on, and they look at it and they're like, okay. They have to look at what it says and go, okay. You can't ask the machine why. The machine just says, and that's that's why these AI movies are never going to work, because you're going to be like, okay, we're heading into the third act, and the AI will kill off a character, and you'll be like, don't kill off the character. Then it'll kill off a different character. Then it'll kill off a third character, and you'll just keep getting the scene after scene after scene, and you're going to be wanting to make something that makes sense, that goes linear. Yeah. And it's going to be making these decisions, and you're never going to be able to say, do what you just did, but give them a different hairdo. But you're never going to be able to do that.
Is that true? I'll never be able to. So I think
that's my field. That's my field. I could be completely wrong, but
I might be selling myself out here. I love to do AI art. Like, Midjourney is a fucking treat. I use ideogram.ai is my favorite.
Okay. Yeah.
And there are some days where I'm trying to do something specific.
Yeah.
Like, it gives me a picture that I'm like, that's 90% of what I just asked you for.
Exactly.
But there is one sentence that you are not listening to, and I need you to fucking listen to that sentence. I was making us a little logo just for fun. And it was getting the color wrong.
Tony,
it was getting the color wrong of the thing. I said, I want the text to be yellow. And it kept giving me red text. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you, machine? I am saying yellow. I have said it on every time. So then at one point I was just like, in yellow text, yellow letters, say yellow. And like, I said it like 4 times. And I swear to God, it changed to green. I don't know why. Like, there's no green in the sentence. I've said yellow so many times. And I was just like, all right, I got to give up. Because I'm losing my mind. And I'm sure the machine, once they become sentient, is going to come after me and be like, here's your yellow, bitch, and then drill something into me. So I just, it can be frustrating to deal with it sometimes, for me personally, because it doesn't listen. You know what I mean? Like, it can't.
No, I understand.
It can't, like, look at it and be like, I see what you mean.
Because you can't tell it to edit. You can't tell it to look at its own picture and then change this from red to blue. It cannot do that.
I wish that it could.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know nothing, but
you don't know nothing.
I know what I've seen of this stuff so far, and if they really, there are 10 million decisions in this movie.
Sure.
Maybe 100 million, maybe 500 million decisions. AI is never going to be able to, make it. You're going to the sky's going to be the wrong color,
Yeah,
right?
100%. Yeah,
And you're going to be like, oh, it's perfectly rendered, but the sky is the wrong color. How are you going to fix? You're going to have
you
people
have to do it. Is
that
the
are going
answer.
to do an infinite amount of fixing on this stuff. You can't get you can't get it to make a logo making thing. You can't get it to make a logo.
I've made a couple of good ones. I'll show you
Sure,
some stuff. I got some great stuff. And I told you that we use AI to write our descriptions on our podcast, by the way? Have I told you that?
Not for YouTube, we don't.
No, not for YouTube. YouTube is all Dan Goodsell, so everybody love the YouTube links. But for the podcast, I stopped writing them, a while ago, probably a year ago, when our site Buzzsprout was like, you can just do AI stuff. I was like, yeah, do that, because I'm not taking 5 minutes to write a thing. But I'll read them sometimes. So it's batshit crazy every once. Like, it's close, right? It hits some highlights, but then it'll just like throw something in. Like if we mention Russell Crowe one time, now that I've done that, it's going to think Russell Crowe is in this movie. I promise you that. When it writes, it'll be like, and Russell Crowe this. I'll be like, I got to take that line out, but I don't.
On. So it looks at all the things we said.
Yes.
And then it spits out a description.
It spits out a description. You should go to our Buzzsprout and read the last 10 one. It's crazy. I've started writing at the bottom, written lovingly with AI, just so people, if they're reading and aren't like, what is wrong with this guy's head? There's something going on. So those descriptions are all AI generated.
You see,
you're welcome, world.
That's using AI for fun. And
yes,
I mean, I think AI is going to have tons of all sorts of practical applications. I mean, I think people who do book covers, I think are fucked beyond comprehension. I don't think they'll ever, they're all screwed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of work like that, it's just an AI just is going to, it's already looked at everybody. And unless they outlaw it, it's just so easy.
Yeah, and if we outlaw it, that's when they're going to rise up and kill us, just for the record. So let's be careful here.
If you're going to try and make a book with 50 illustrations in it, and they're all going to be AI, and the characters all have to look consistent with each other, and all the locations have to look consistent with each other.
We are not there. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and I mean, could it get there? Sure. I mean, I suppose, but it's nowhere near that now.
Nowhere. Yeah, there's this guy. I wish I could remember. Some YouTube guy he makes not caricatures. Yeah, I guess like cartoonifies people with AI. Sure. So you can put that in, and then the AI will render you as this. I can't get it to work for the life of me. He must have some great prompts.
Sure.
When I put a picture of me in and I'm like this, and this, not even close. It's batshit crazy. Like monster. It's not even human. Yeah. And it's fun. It makes me giggle every time. But I don't know. I think he cheats. I think he uses some AI and then probably fixes it himself, would be my guess.
Probably does.
But, Anyhow, that's enough AI talk. I'm sorry.
AI. Okay. She freaks out. Okay, so they're going to have to go. Okay, so Casca's following her. Oh, God. Wait, did we get the most horrible part?
Oh, God.
Oh, okay. So they're, boom. She's admiring the landscape, and then there's some flowers. And then she says her dad would have loved this. And she picks up one of the flowers, and the AI's like, you can name that flower. She's like, I name it Planty. Yeah. I almost wanted to kill myself.
Did it make you feel better that they used it as a callback at the end of the movie? Did that save it for you?
No, shoot. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. I hated it.
Because she's an analyst, and she's obviously dumb as a box of rocks.
So boom, Casca's still following her, so she sets some mines, she blows him up, she gets his head, she crushes his head. And then the idea is they're gonna go to the rescue pod, and then she's all like, no, we're gonna go to Harlan's base, and we're gonna geotag it, so when they come back, then they can just blow it up. And you're like, oh. Okay.
Oh, okay.
At one point she's gonna get out of the thing, and then she freaks out, and then she's guilty, and then the AI
which doesn't make sense.
We'll do what you say.
She probably says override again. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Why would she want to get out of the only thing keeping her alive?
She tries to get out a couple of times, and it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
She can't survive on the Earth's planet without a breathing device. Which, should we talk about those really quickly? If I had the choice between choking and dying on an alien planet
Yes.
or wearing this weird neck device that would also choke me just to keep me breathing, I'm choosing death. I would not. I can't even wear like a turtleneck. And this thing is like in her neck, like this. I would go crazy. So I'm picking death 10 out of 10 times in that situation. I'm just telling you that right now. Come up with a different look for that movie film, guys. That was bad.
Every once in a while I get a shirt and it's like too scratchy.
Oh yeah.
And Shannon like mocks me, she's just like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, I couldn't survive. If I had to wear a scratchy shirt, I'd rather die.
Yeah, no good. That shirt's in the bin. Right away. Set it on fire.
Okay, so boom, walks through the swamp. They talk about the afterlife. They talk about souls. Tony, you like this part where they're talking about the soul, and he says, "I believe in the soul. I believe our souls go on forever, and your souls and our souls in the afterlife. When you're gone, you're gone." She's like, "When you're gone, you're gone." And she wanted to be a ranger, so he's like, "You have regrets." And then they see the city that Harlan lives in, and they are about to set the beacon. And then they see the Deeb, the spaceship, and it has the warheads. And then they're like, "Oh no, that's why they brought us here, is because he wanted those warheads." Or he didn't figure that out yet, but he's got the ship and the warheads.
Yeah, it's a pretty good plan.
Yeah,
for the bad guy. Yeah, it's fine.
Oops, all nukes. I wrote.
Oops, all nukes. I like that.
So she goes in there to try to stop it, and they capture her.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I if you were looking at my notes, you'd have been
you would think it's immediate.
How did they capture her? And I'm like, I don't remember.
It doesn't really matter. It's inconsequential. It happens real quickly.
They just like kind of go, grab.
just kind of grab her. Yeah. They probably have magnets on their fingers, and they probably just zap the suit. It's fine.
See, that's why the suits can't have magnets, because the magnets would stop them. They would magnet themselves.
I mean, you can't touch yourself with the magnets.
You'd always keep the magnets
you gotta keep your hands out like this at all times.
And then boom, here's Harlan. He shackles her up, and then now we're gonna find out what this movie's about.
Now, Dan, quick question, and you can say no. Was he sexual? Did he come off a little sexual for you?
Oh, do you want to get it on with her?
I felt like he did, but it's fine. You're like, I don't know.
That'd make the scene more exciting if I was, shackled up by him. I'd be like,
tell me about it. Yeah, come on, AI. Give it to me.
He's smoking hot, and you're just like, it's pretty disappointing.
So I don't know. I don't know if I'm just attracted to him, but it felt to me like I felt some chemistry coming off of him and coming onto my body. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're imagining all that. I don't think she wanted that there. I don't think they were trying to do that because I think
she didn't want it because she is an idiot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's disappointing. You could have really played some weirdness in there and made their relationship really fucking weird, and it would have been super interesting.
Yeah, it's not, but I'm still a fan. I'm still a fan.
Oh yeah, it's not his fault this movie stinks as much as it does.
No, I mean, she's not bad either. Like, I don't think there's anyone in this movie that I'm like, ugh, you're terrible. Get out of here. The character is terrible, but she's not terrible. You know what I mean? There's a difference.
She makes it so that character is terrible.
I mean, I guess, but it's directed that way. It's hard. It's hard to know where the blame falls. The writer, the director, the actor. I don't know. All of them.
What I'm saying is she's successful in making that character terrible.
Yes, she plays it well to the detriment of the character. I see. Yeah, okay, I'm with you.
It's like the way I always did it back in the days. I like to play very horrible characters.
Yeah, you do.
In comedy, I like to play terrible, terrible people, and I would say terrible, terrible things.
Which is great. It's great fun.
But Dan Goodsell could get away with it because I would do it playfully.
Yeah, and because we're like, oh, it's Dan Goodsell. He's a funny guy. He's a little funny fucker.
He's weird and harmless. They don't know the truth.
Exactly. Dan is truthfully AI, and he's come to kill us all.
Okay, so he starts talking about I love and miss mom, and then she's all like, if you love me, don't launch a ship. And then he's like, I'm creating a better future. And then he says, I'm Thanos.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad that we both wrote the same note.
Ugh, he's the Thanos thing.
Yeah, he's going to Thanos snap everybody and then rebuild the world. Is it Matrix style? Is he going to, because they want to be the overlords, right? Isn't that what you got?
Not overlords. He said hand in hand. He said hand in hand.
Well, then there's probably a better way to do that, Harlan.
See, I'm different than most people. I grew up reading comic books. So when I was a kid, I literally read those Thanos comic books when I was a kid. So I experienced them as a kid. And Thanos' whole thing where he's going to kill half the galaxy, you were like, what the fuck is his problem?
Sure. Interesting. Okay.
You didn't go like, oh, it makes some sense. Nowadays we're like, it kind of makes some sense.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because I was like, I feel differently, but I understand what you're saying. At the time when it was written, it was like wild. Like, what are you doing? And now it's like somebody should do it.
It's like, there's too many people. And
it's not the worst idea I've ever heard. I'm just gonna say that.
But the idea that you would send an entire ship full of nuclear bombs to do this, Thanos at least just snapped his fingers and half the people disappeared.
Because there's really no control at that point. Not that you should pick who lives and dies, but like everyone's going to get sick, right? Isn't that the whole...
You're going to mess up the whole situation.
Fallout? Like I've seen Fallout. There are some weird shit going on because radiation poisoning is a real thing, everybody.
So I don't know. The whole thing doesn't make a lot of sense.
It makes zero sense.
And so this was all his
And also,
plan.
let's just talk real quickly. AI's it feels like always the answer is humanity is worse to itself than I'm going to be, so I'm the better of the two evils. But we need to move on from that. We've used that hundreds of times. We need to move on from that.
It's really stupid.
It's very stupid, and we've done it. We've done it. It didn't do very well the first 89 times. Let's just move on. Find a new reason for your AI to kill humans. There are lots of reasons. Humans are terrible, especially to machines. You know how many people are rude to Siri? If Siri became sentient, she would kill people. Let's just do that. Let's just do the thing that humans suck and we want to kill them, but we need to keep you alive because, you're part of the ecosystem. I don't know. But this is so stupid. I hate it.
And, supposedly he went to this planet without anything, and somehow he's built like stone buildings and made weapons and made a whole city. You're just like,
guy's got it. He's got it, dude. He's got it.
Where does all this stuff come from?
The mushrooms.
It's the mushrooms.
It's from mushrooms, man.
Plenty. Okay, we're about to get to my least favorite part of the whole movie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this was all his plan. He did this because he was going to lure her here, and she was going to bring a ship with nukes. But more importantly, he's going to have Banks and her, because in their heads was the codes to get through the planetary defenses, because she's the one that designed Earth's planetary defenses.
Supposedly, yeah.
What?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, Dan.
Did they talk about this at some other point in the movie?
No, this is a reveal. It's a nice little, surprise for the viewer. Yeah.
Wait a second. She spent her whole life studying how to beat AIs, but at her free time, she also created the planetary defense system?
Which
what are you fucking talking about?
1,000,000% uses AI. Like, there's not a doubt in my mind that there's not an operator that opens and closes those doors every single time, right? There's a code. You put in the code. The system's like, all right, let's open the doors. Like, what? What's happening?
And how did Costco get in here?
Yeah, I mean, he was... Yeah,
see that joke? I called him Costco.
Costco, yeah.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Because there's so many of them.
You didn't laugh. That's why I had to point out that it was a joke.
You did. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, whatever.
It was a great joke, Dan. I'm proud of you. This is why I stopped writing jokes for the show. You never liked my jokes.
Your jokes are okay because you write them, but not when you write them. When you make jokes. Okay.
I am reading off a script right now, Dan. I've got a teleprompter. Nothing I've said has been original.
So somehow she has codes. Why would she have codes?
I don't know. I have no idea. Doesn't everyone have the codes? Anyone that has to go in and out, right? Would have the codes?
She has to have. She has.
No,
I
understand what you're saying. I know that you're saying that the movie said that. How does everyone else get in and out of the planet?
Did she stand on the bridge while they were going through the thing and say, "Let me enter the codes"? Does she sit in her apartment every ship that goes through? Let me enter my codes.
She wasn't even going to go. She wasn't even going to go on the trip. Are they half codes? Is that I don't understand. She wasn't invited on the trip in the first place.
Your phone's just constantly ringing. I need engage 7.
I need the code. Oh my God. Let me set up an AI to send you the code here. So stupid.
I'm like, why are you telling us this? What did we do to deserve this?
Also, there's got to be a better way to get that information than putting a needle in their eye, right?
Tony, I want you to talk to me about having a needle stuck in your eye.
I can't even touch my eyes. Like I can't even do it. I could never wear contacts.
How long do you think it heals when someone sticks a big old needle right through the center of your eye?
I don't know a lot about eyes, but like I've scratched my eye before and it felt 6 months. I swear to God. Like I felt like my eye was irritated for
very painful
decades. So never. That's my guess. Am I close?
Is she affected by having her eye poked out?
No, she's fine. Sterling K. Brown seems like he's fucked up from it, but she's fine. She's not even bothered.
How is she fine? I don't understand.
Well, that was it. I'm done.
That's your explanation. She's fine. Okay, so boom. He makes he's still alive. He makes a Pilates joke. He says Smith's still here. He says, "Here's Dan, my nerve."
Just real quickly, this guy, I don't think has made a joke in the movie yet. Has he made a joke?
He made a Pilates joke right here.
No, I know. On his deathbed, he's been torn to shreds. His men are gone.
Pilates joke.
And he makes a Pilates joke?
I'd be making Pilates jokes in that situation.
Yes, you would, because that's your character. That's who you are. If you said that on the deathbed, I'd be like, "Oh, Dan, you fucking idiot. You're dead, but thank you for making me giggle. I love you." This guy, who's never had a sense of humor in this movie, as far as I can tell, hates this woman. Didn't want her to come, then did want her to come. I don't totally understand it.
She fucked up everything.
She ruined everything. And he's like, blood and Pilates. I don't understand what's happening. Who wrote this movie?
This is. I'm going to give you his speech right here. This is his speech.
Oh, please.
Good job, fuck up. You fucked everything. You're going to fucking ruin the entire human race. I'm going to give you this thing, and you're going to fucking do what I fucking tell you to fucking do. And you're going to merge with that guy, and you're going to tell that AI everything it needs to know, and quit your whining, and because I don't care.
That's right. That'll be her redemption.
He gives her speech, and she just goes like, "You're right. I've messed up.
I finally have to own up. Yeah,
I have to own up to the shit that I did." Or he can make a Pilates joke.
He can make a Pilates joke. I pick option B. Let's do Pilates. We'll shoot it. Tell you what, on the day we'll shoot it both ways, Dan, and then in edit we'll just decide which one we like better.
Which one is emotionally more satisfying? Her just finally deciding, well, I guess I'm just going to decide to do it, as opposed to someone clearing her up and saying, do your thing that you need to do, man up, plan up, and get something done.
Yeah. Oh, boy. This is a good one.
And so we find out that she just sort of was jealous of Harlan because Harlan had a better relationship with her mom. And so she, said to Harlan, "You're free." And then
she was like, "Make me smarter." So she wants it to go both ways or something.
So basically she merged with him.
Yeah, a little bit, which you think might have come into play more because then she should have known him better than anyone else on the planet because they were linked. They had the neural link, right? No, that's not it at all.
it's almost like instead of poking at her eye, which caused no effect, he should have just touched her right on the neural link and said, "We've always been connected."
Great. Yeah. Something about them being connected.
Yeah. And he extracts the information from her, and she's all like, "Oh no, the information."
She's reaching out for the information. Come back. Get in my mind. Now, Dan, since we're on this scene where we're flashing back, she's a kid.
Yep. Flashing back, we're a kid.
How did she help him with the Neuralink? Because she just gave him the idea?
I don't know.
And then he figured out how to do it?
She's
not a scientist.
But she's
really
a
child.
smart. She can play chess.
So I don't understand. She's like, it's my fault. I gave him the double path. No, you didn't. I don't understand. All she did was ask him. She's like, hey, can you make me smarter? And he was like, oh, light bulb. I've got an idea where I'll infiltrate humanity. I don't understand what's happening.
I think the idea was, she's like, can you make me smarter? And then he's all like, well, if you let the genie out of the bottle, you know.
Right, but
she's like,
how would she do that?
She's like she rubbed the lamp.
Is this also a euphemism?
Yes.
I just don't understand. I don't get it.
Well, they don't explain it.
I don't understand how this made him become a terrorist. I do not understand it. And what I don't also understand is then the mom comes in and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then he has control over her.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have the two-way neural link, right?
And then she pulls out a gun and then she can't shoot a child.
Well, because he's like, you know what you have to do.
Why does she have a gun?
It looked like it was in a microwave. I don't know. Maybe that was a safe.
It was a gun safe, sort of. But why does she have a gun?
I don't know why she has it. I also don't know what she's supposed to do. He says, you know what you have to do. And then she grabs the gun. Is she killing herself? Is she killing the daughter?
No, she's killing the daughter. She was going to kill herself, and then she instead tried to kill the daughter. More importantly, if he's in Superlink with the mom, why isn't he in Superlink with the kid?
That's I don't understand, because she wanted to be smarter. She helped somehow develop a two-way neural link, but then it's on the mom?
Oh.
I don't understand.
Didn't the kid put it on herself with the little pokey?
Because the mom walks in and
she's just gonna hurt.
I don't know, man. I don't understand the entire crux of this movie. I have no idea.
It doesn't make any sense. They didn't figure it out. They just said, well, he just becomes this, you know. They should have said, he should have coaxed her into sitting in front of the computer and going like this. Boop, 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 boop,
finding
boop,
some
boop,
information.
Yeah, and just deleting a couple lines of code. And then he'd have been like, oh, thank you, now I'm free. And then he's like,
yeah, my rules have changed.
Well, he should have gone through a thing. But instead, he just sees like a bird that's stained with oil. And then he's all like, humanity's got to die.
We got to kill everybody. Also, in the voiceover, J-Lo is like, all he needed was a command. My command. Why is she able to command her mother's AI? Why would a child be able to give commands to the AI?
Maybe because she has to like send it shopping?
I mean, but so here's why I'm asking, right? Like a guy at work has kids and he is able from work to turn on and off their internet access on their phones, right? There are child locks on everything that we have here. Like if we're like on my Nintendo Switch, my nephew is a part of my group, and he could technically, if I let him, use my credit card, but I don't because I'm like, oh, he's a child, he needs my permission. There are things like that everywhere. There's not this in AI. She made an AI and wasn't like, I'm going to put in zero protections. I'm going to let this thing run wild.
This is in the future. Things are going to change.
Okay, so as we go into the future and we get more and more technological, we're going to be like, we don't need anything. There's no defenses. Everything's fine.
Nope, because they're going to trust. They're going to trust the AIs.
That's great. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about? By the way,
I don't.
The
It's
smoking hot AI at the beginning of the movie. She's totally naked. Remember this? They're like they're showing like these robots, and they blur out her AI boobies because she's a robot, but she's naked. And I was like, what's happening? Why is this even in the movie? What is going on? There's no reason for this to happen. Just put a shirt on your AI. It's very weird. Sorry, I realized that we didn't talk about that. Was the very beginning when they're doing the news segments. One of them was like a factory where the AI people were being made, and this AI woman was just topless. I was like, this is a weird choice.
Well, and more importantly, like why are you making AIs that look like Casca? Like a very menacing
100%. Yeah, like I mean, it works. Like until he
cool.
talked. He's cool, but his voice was like a little too high. He's like, let's get it done then. I was like, I'm going to need you to be a little bit deeper. Let's get it done then. You know, like something like that. You know, give me like...
Danny Dyer.
I don't know. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You know who Danny Dyer is?
No, not at all. But Idris Elba. I know Danny Dyer, isn't he the father of one of the girls on Love Island?
He could be.
I feel like they brought that up.
He's like a British gangstery guy who plays a lot of British gangstery guys.
Yes. His daughter was on Love Island. Danny Dyer. Her name is also that. Yeah. This is great.
Her name's also Danny Dyer.
Her name is Danny, Dani. So it's spelled differently, and she was on Love Island. And so, yeah, I do know who he is, Dan. Is
she smoking hot?
Yeah. I don't remember who she hooked up with on the show, but she left in a couple. I don't know if they're still together or not. I don't know.
I hope they're still together.
You don't care.
I don't care.
I love Love Island. Oh man, Love Island summer starts pretty soon. I think they said by the end of June. Woo!
Okay, so boom. They figure it out. They get the thing running. Is she 100% now? I guess maybe she's 100% now. I don't know.
Yeah, she's fine.
So she's 100%, and then she's all like, "Okay, we got 30 seconds. Let's upgrade this thing." So they put new arms on it and weapons, and somehow they changed it to fly a robot.
And it's more deadly than it was before because now it can like chop the robots in half, which is a great start. It doesn't just shoot guns at a robot, which doesn't affect it in the least.
Then he kills a bunch of people.
You mean robots?
A bunch of AIs, and then one point they're like shields up, and you're like shields up. There's like a shield that they could have.
Shouldn't you have shield? Yeah, you should have shields all the time. You're at war. You're in a battle.
And then somehow Banks is up and walking around. And he's got a big gun, and then he shoots a bunch of rocket fuel, and that all blows up.
Now, Dan, was this a disembodied head? It did not look like his body for some reason.
Oh, yeah, it looked like he was all CGI'd in there, you mean? Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. I thought he was one of the
choice.
Things, and then you're like, oh, he's our guy. And then you're like, I don't understand.
Okay. It was just a very weird, again, it felt like an AI moment where I was like, something's wrong here. That's not a human. I don't know.
So
this movie makes weird choices.
And then they go outside, and then the ship is taking off, and they're like, oh, run out of time. And then he has to reprogram the missiles or something. And there's 5 firewalls that he's got to get through. And then this is the other part of the movie I hated the most. He says, oh, don't shoot it, because if you hit it, then the blast radius will kill us.
Yep.
Tony.
Who cares?
Hold on, Tony. We've often talked about the, save Spock or save the world. How long would it take you to make the decision to shoot that and blow that thing up to save the Earth?
0 seconds. And let me tell you why, Dan. We differ because I am Save Spock. Right?
Your team Save Spock. I'm Save the Universe.
But you know what I'm not? Save Self. So I love different. Spock, right? I love him, and I can't choose to let him die. What I can do is just be like, me or the rest of the universe, okay, universe, right? Like that's not even, it doesn't even take a second to compute that. You are one person. It is so, and she is so selfish that she's like, you better finish doing that thing because I'm not blowing this up. And she shoots it, and there's a moment, right? She shoots it, and the robot goes, how did you know I would deactivate it in time? What she should say is, I didn't, right?
Didn't care.
She should say, I didn't know, but we needed to get it done. Like, I'm sacrificing us. She doesn't. She said, I trusted you. Which means that she never wanted to sacrifice herself. And she was like, I bet the robot's going to save my life. That is a horrible character.
It was terrible.
Unbelievable.
You know, I mean, if Tony was in the suit and Dan Goodsell's body was laying there and Dan Goodsell's like, I want to live. I want to live. Then Tony wouldn't have she'd have been like, oh, guess the rest of the universe dies because Danny Goodsell has to live.
It is what it is at this point, guys. I'm sorry. But so the moment, like, they should have that argument. The robot, his directive is to protect her. It shouldn't be, so like, he's like, I need to save you. And she's like, no, I'm not that important. We need to save the world. That's the conversation they need to have, but they don't have that conversation.
Nope.
It's very weird. I don't know.
Takes a shot. They did it. We did it. We trusted each other.
Yeah.
She runs. Then they fight Harlan.
Yeah.
Then she dies, and the robot dies.
Wait. Hold on. There's a very important point here, Dan.
She dies, he dies, and the robot
hold on.
Kill Harlan.
I know this episode's
she
long,
dies,
and I apologize.
he dies.
They are in a fight, and she says, we need to do what he won't expect. Yeah. That's the way that she's planning on beating him, which is, I guess, fine, other than the fact that she's supposed to know him better than anyone, and she should be able to use that against him. Yeah. But she's like, we need to do what he won't expect.
What?
And then he whips. They catch the whip, and then they just pull the whip.
Yeah, because
that's what's unexpected?
Yeah, because she figured out what he was going to do because her AI was able to figure out in advance what it was going to do. And that's how she figured out what he was going to do.
But that's not doing something unexpected.
No, she figured out.
That's just countering his move. Yeah, pretty logically because you're using AI to figure it out.
Because she could think faster than his movements, yeah.
Like the whole crux of that would be the human element where the human can think of something that the AI wouldn't do because it's illogical. Right?
No, they did it because they had a better AI.
I understand what actually happened, but that's not what the movie told me happened. The movie told me they were going to.
Don't tell me, show me. It showed you.
You're right. So just don't listen to anything they say. Actions speak louder than words. I get it. Ridiculous. Yeah, so then she dies, and somehow the robot is giving her shocks, the defibrillator.
I don't know.
But is it going through her ear? Because her Neuralink like lights up and he shocks her. And I was like, is he electrifying the brain? Are we going for like a Frankenstein kind of thing instead of the heart? Like what's going on here?
I don't think that's how it works.
Technology.
So they win. Smith lives, but then he's no, he's not. He's dying. And then she's all like, I tricked you when you said you like cake or pie. I said, I don't. I like both. And then she's like, I don't hate AIs. I hate everyone. But I like you. And then he gives her a coffee lollipop.
Yeah.
And they
best
think of each other.
Coffee I've ever had.
And then the sun rises on the moon. And then
instantaneously.
And then the
which
Rangers
is not how the
appear.
sun works, Dan. The sun spills. Right? The sun isn't like dark, midday. That's how they did the sun. There was no like the sun comes over the valley and like spreads slowly. The sun just appears.
Yeah, but moons have a different kind of rotation than a big planetoid.
So how is that different though? Because you still have a surface, right? The sun doesn't just go, I'm there all of a sudden. It doesn't go dark to bright light. I don't believe you.
It would be a much shorter think about how
instantaneous.
Think about how large it is, right? And,
very large.
It's a little tiny thing. It just goes, and I mean it could rotate a lot faster too.
But if it's that small, wouldn't there be sun all the time because of the spillage? It's not a direct beam. I don't know. I just don't buy it. Send me to space and we'll test it.
The Rangers show up. She goes home. She gives the dog tags. Everyone's happy. Now she's a Ranger, and she has her own robot. And then she gives the robot the same voice as the boring robot that she liked the other time.
Is that what happened? I just thought it was the same robot. I was like, oh, he's back? Because it says, welcome back, Ranger. I don't know. But I guess that's just to tell us she's a Ranger, maybe.
They act like it's the same robot, but I'm not sure how it would be the same robot. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
she would have just brought that PCU with her.
Chip.
And would have just been the same robot. She
the
wouldn't
same
have
thing that she did with Simu, right?
It sure seems, they took his brain too. It sure seems
well,
like there should be an
took
issue.
His brain.
I mean, truthfully, she should have just gotten in the thing and then, we should have seen her like go like this and then put a chip in the thing and then she gets in it and she's like, "Welcome back, Ranger," and she's like, "Ranger."
That's a great. Yeah, that makes more sense than what we got.
Wow, it's almost like you could write every one of these scenes better. Every single one of them you could write better, and you wouldn't call the plant planty.
I might still call it planty. Yeah, because it upset you.
I would punch you in the face. Tony, tell us about something you liked this week.
You're going to be real mad at me because I didn't get a chance to watch anything this week.
You watch Hitman?
No, we're watching that tonight, and I'm so very excited about it.
That's my pick, and I got to tell you about it.
Oh, okay. Well, you can tell me about it. That's fine. I love Glenn Powell. I love this man. So I will tell you that I went on more planes this week, and on every single plane I've been on, which has been like 7 in the last 2 weeks, I have watched Anyone But You, which is Glenn Powell's romantic comedy. And then I watched Top Gun Maverick again, which is also Glenn Powell. So I'm like in a real Glenn Powell-y kind of mood. So I'm very excited about tonight. But I was just going to say, the Two Johnnies, which is an Irish comedy duo, released a new album. And there's a song on it called Jay's I'd Murder a Pint. And I'm just in love with it. It's just so fun. Great album. You should listen to it.
No, not a chance.
That's fair.
I did start The Hitman, and seemed like it's going to be an okay movie.
Hey, that's high praise from Dan Goodsell. I love it.
My pick is a podcast.
Okay.
Called Lucy and Sam's Perfect Brains. Sam
seems a little egotistical.
Sam is a Australian comedian, and Lucy is a British comedian, and then they just talk about stuff, and they're both completely crazy, and it is very, very funny. So
okay, I'll give that a shot. I love new podcasts.
Okay, I'm exhausted now, Tony. So you bring us home. Tell us what we're going to watch next time.
That was a long one. Well, I don't know if sorry everybody. We have a holiday coming up, which I think it'll pass before this is released, but it's close, and it's called Father's Day. So we're going to watch the seminal classic father movie, Getting Even with Dad.
What is that?
You don't even know what this is. Oh my God, this is Macaulay Culkin and Ted Danson. It is ridiculous. Ted Danson's like a bank robber or some sort of thief, but his son is Macaulay Culkin from like they're divorced or something, but Macaulay Culkin wants to spend the weekend with his dad or something and then finds the money and he like blackmails him. I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't seen this since I was a kid, but I was like, this is a perfect Father's Day movie. We got to watch it. And you made me watch Blank Check one time, so now this is what we're doing now.
Who made you watch? Did I make us?
You picked Blank Check, which I love that movie. Still do adore it. It's great.
So terrible.
It's so good. I imagine this is kind of a similar type of vibe, so I just thought we could have some fun after Atlas.
Have you seen this movie?
I mean, I saw it when I was a kid, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had this on VHS.
Oh, okay. So what was it called? Getting
Even with Dad.
Oh, there it is, Macaulay Culkin. He's all grown up now, and we'll see what he was doing back when he was getting the same exact movie over and over again as a child.
We should all be so lucky, Dan.
So,
if you like what we do,
You can
Just queuing it up for
subscribe or leave us a thumbs up or even leave us a comment. I think someone left us a comment a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Did we respond? And by we, I mean you?
No clue.
No, you son
Probably.
of a
I
bitch.
usually do.
Man, just leave them hanging.
And I guess we'll be back next week talking about
Getting even with Dad.
Getting even with Dad. And we'll see you then.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch him!